Hello, everyone, and welcome here to Town Hall Heroes episode number 99. I am Solid Jake, and this week we are joined by Bakery, Hasuobs, Zoya, and the Kubi, and I don't know what's going on with Bakery's camera.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Whoa.
There's a trophy in the way.
Whoa.
I just forgot about it. I must have just left it there. That's a shame. I'll put that to the side now.
Alright, that was good enough.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, I had no idea what the fuck was happening, but that was good.
Well played.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, guys, well, on episode 99, we'll be talking about the European regionals, the state of the European scene, going into the patch notes of the day. That was very loud and very sorry. Thanks for the sub, Mr. J. Let me mute that. And Xul discussion and then Tracer thoughts. But Hasuobs, this is, of course, your first time on the show. And, well, welcome to the show, and why don't you give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm Hasuobs. I'm playing for My Insanity, Heroes of the Storm, obviously. Before that, I played for Rocket. And before that, I have a very long esports history. I was playing StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 professional. I'm the famous 6-time EPS champion. Maybe you heard about that already. And I'm trying to rock in Heroes right now.
Nice, man. Well, obviously making it to Korea, you're doing something right. Yes. That's a big deal. So congrats on that. Bakery, welcome back. You also will be going to Korea.
Indeed, yep.
So
cool.
That smile. It's like, yeah. What a goober. Love it.
All right, Zoya, what's new, my friend?
Not much. Been streaming a little bit. Been playing a decent amount of Heroes. The Vision came out. That's actually really, really fun. Been playing that the last few days. I don't think much else, man. Well, it's been kind of a slow week. You know, just checking out Xul and stuff.
Okay, I'm just adjusting my mic because apparently it's really bad. Koobs, what happened to your face?
What do you mean what happened to my face? We went over this 2 weeks ago. God, it just doesn't listen. I had surgery on my eyeballs. Put laser beams in them and stuff. Cyclops, whatever. What's new? I don't know. Between Heroes, Street Fighter has been it's been good. It's been a lot of fun. It just released a couple weeks ago, so I've been dealing with that. It's one of my old flames, I guess. And yeah, like Jared was saying, kind of other than I don't know, nothing really for NA scene. We just had the EU regionals, but it's been pretty quiet otherwise.
Yeah, NA. I mean, after EU regionals, it has been dead silent, like you said. Cool. I am, again, on a mysterious adventure that I still cannot announce exactly what I'm doing. I've been here for a week. I am in a hotel, and I will be here for 5 weeks. But fortunately, the client was able to hook me up with a computer that actually shits all over my home PC. I brought a webcam and a mouse, and I have a nice computer with some nice internet. If you watch some other streamers, you might have seen them around as well. But yeah, hopefully that announcement will go out before the weekend is over. Now, continuing on, guys, we're going to be talking about the European regionals. But Bakery, I wanted to ask you how you feel about the EU scene and the current state of it, because we saw some. I mean, Zoya likes to rag on the EU scene a bit, but we saw some interesting games.
Okay, to be fair, I normally rag on their drafts, and I didn't think their drafts were too bad, but holy shit, you guys need better shot callers and better mechanics. That was
oh man,
that was a rough showing this weekend.
Some of the games,
yes.
I think it's become pretty clear that roster apocalypse was not actually a good thing. I mean, I don't know who could
Did anyone
this.
expect that to me? Thank you.
But
roster apocalypse, I like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that overall the EU scene got a lot weaker because of all the roster swaps. And so what you said, the drafting wasn't that bad. I feel like the drafting on day one was absolutely just nonsensical.
Compared to normally what EU does, I don't think it was any worse than normal.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm going to go real hard this episode. Just be ready.
I guess we should have brought Snitch on to keep you at bay. Hasuobs, what do you have to say about that?
I don't know, man. I see the when I watch the NA regionals, I saw all the medic bans, the Zeratul bans. While the Zeratul bans, I think I understand, but the medic, I'm not too sure. Like in some comps, I had no idea why they banned it or why they even picked it. When I thought it should have been getting crushed, but the medic team actually won. But I think that's just a different playstyle. Like in Korea, you see a different meta. You see it in Europe and in AIM. Like all the region has their own meta, and I actually don't know what's the best right now. Like I guess we will find out at the Worlds.
Damn. I wanted to like message Zoya on chat, but I'm running on one monitor right now. Sorry for detracting this. Zoya, can you turn your mic down? Anyways, yeah, just turn your mic down. I'll move it away from your mouth a little bit because you are louder. So I mean, obviously, like some of the drafting and stuff was like definitely unorthodox. Hasu, what were your thoughts on that one game where we saw the early Murky pick and then a Cho'Gall as a response? Like, that was I had just woken up from a nap and I actually thought that ESL had hosted a stream
Yes,
because I was like, what the hell am I watching?
it probably looked a bit like Hero League. But to be fair, like I expected to see Murky by Fnatic because I knew they practiced it and they used
Okay.
it a little bit before, and I think Athero is a decent Murky player. He knows what he has to do, and his Murky looked strong. The weird thing though is that Team Liquid choose to get Shogal in that game as well,
Yeah.
which I had no idea why they went for it. Because I know they practiced something else. I don't know if I can share it here, but I know that they specifically practiced something on Dragonshire, but they decided not to go for it, but instead for Cho'Gall. And I mean, it didn't really work out too well for them, I think.
Did anyone talk to them after the fact? Try to get any kind of insight on that? It was definitely an odd one.
Yeah, it was an odd one. Like, so we scrimmed a lot against Team Liquid, and they wanted to try a few things. One was on Dragonshire, one was on Blackheart's Bay. The Blackheart's Bay didn't happen because it didn't work out at all for them, so they stopped on that idea. But on Dragonshire, they had, I think, an interesting idea, and I would have loved to seen it, but either they wanted to hide it for the semifinals, or they just felt it wouldn't work against Murky. So maybe the Murky pick was genius after all.
So smart, so meta.
What is Murky's win rate now in
200%.
like high-end competitive events? Is it 2-0?
No, because
No, I'm saying like high-end stuff. Where else has
Cloud9
been
last year lost to both Tempo Storm and Cognitive when busting out Murky.
But
Yeah, they
beat
didn't
FG
play
Black.
it during Vegas.
Yeah, but they played it during the qualifiers.
Yeah,
No, yeah, me.
I don't know about that. Murky's undefeated when he's good.
So Murky's undefeated only counting the games he goes undefeated.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, he's
Got it.
undefeated 2016, right?
can't argue that. Flawless logic. Don't shake your head at that. It's true.
Yeah, sure.
So do you guys agree with the statement that Zoya made that shot callers on average in Europe and some of the team synergies and communication needs a lot of work?
Go first, Bakery.
Thanks, man. I don't think it's so much about the shot calling. I feel like the shot calling's pretty okay in general. I feel like it's just these are teams that were scrambled together less than 1 month before the actual tournament, and there just wasn't enough time to build the proper synergy, and there was no LAN experience for pretty much any team at the event.
What I mean by shot calling is there's one game that stands out in particular to me. It was one where it was BKB's team versus someone on Infernal Shrines, and both teams had like several opportunities to end the game, like 2 or 3 each, and neither team went for it. And that was kind of happened a lot throughout the weekend, where just like teams not knowing how to end or when to end. That's why I bring up shot calling.
It's funny that it happened to Virtus Pro, because I think the Russians usually are very good at going for core when they see an opportunity. But
Or even
maybe
when
you're
they
right.
don't see an opportunity.
Rip.
That's also true.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how like impactful the roster changes were, to the point that it like honestly like Alex the Pro G did an interview with Gosu Gamers where he legitimately just said EU's like not keeping up, they're getting worse, and like it kind of shows. Yeah, like EU actually, I think both of your teams can compete in Korea. Day one,
Absolutely.
Dig looked really bad, but day 2 they stepped it up and looked much better. If the guys.
But I got to give
iron
huge
that
props
out.
to My Insanity as a whole, though. You guys came out guns blazing. I don't think a single one of us, when our bracket predictions last week, had you guys in the top 4.
No.
So to be one of the teams advancing to Korea, like with the new roster and just coming out and playing that well, like the synergy on your guys' end definitely looked superior to the other teams by far.
I mean, after the qualification, I understand why people didn't think we would go far, because it was pretty much a disaster. Almost all qualifiers, besides the very last one, where we finally stepped up when we had to. And then, I mean, we signed contracts in early January, so we are playing for like 3 months now. I think that might be most of the longest period of time for the European teams. And we had a very long boot camp, like more than 10 days, so we felt very well prepared, and we actually knew we would make it out of the group. It was just a little bit of a surprise for me that we were able to beat Dignitas 2-0 in the winners match.
I think
Me as
everyone was
well.
surprised, man. That was Baker. You have any thoughts on that matchup?
So what ended up happening is we were really scared of Navi. So we spend 3 hours in our hotel room the night before the games, and we spend like 2 hours 45 minutes on Navi. And then we're like, MYI, they had a few issues before, they didn't look too strong. Just make sure we don't get cheesed. We should just, win with the drafts we were trying against Navi. And that was a stupid decision, as it turns out. So I think one of the main issues was that against Navi, we aimed to control the ETC because they didn't prioritize the Mjolnir. And as soon as MYI prioritized the Mjolnir, our drafts were completely useless.
Yeah.
Which is a complete
Against
flop in
us.
finals, right?
So there's pretty much nothing we could do with the drafts we got, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Navi's playstyle is very different from ours, actually. So if you try to draft the same against us, it would probably not work. And especially, I think your first draft on Battlefield was close to unwinnable, actually. I think
Yeah,
with the
completely.
Avatar 2 rail or 2 rail or whatever it was. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
if you didn't pick Mjolnir, that was a fantastic draft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You're probably right. So there's 2 heroes I'm curious about that want to get your thoughts on. The first one is Cho'Gall. We've been seeing how he's affected NA to the point where you are like constantly thinking about him in draft, to the point like you're drafting around him almost. Has Cho'Gall impacted the EU scene all that much? I mean, we saw it, but it
It did,
doesn't
I-
feel that Cho'Gall has much of a presence in the other scenes as it did, at least compared to NA.
I think it has quite some impact, actually, on the European scene. We
Yeah, I
used
agree.
it in the qualifier when we qualified for Katowice, and actually was banned quite often during the regionals as well. So teams definitely recognize Cho'Gall as a threat, and I think if you get into a Cho'Gall draft where the opponent has no idea that it's coming, it's super hard to win against, actually.
Yeah.
So I think you have to remember Cho'Gall in your draft so you don't get caught off guard.
Personally, do you guys like that? You think it's a cool dynamic in the game now? Because Cho'Gall is such a unique hero. The 2-person controlled by one, it's a great power to have. But I've heard players say they absolutely despise having to play with Cho'Gall in the meta, and I've heard players say they are absolutely thrilled by it. So I'm just curious to hear your guys' stances.
When you get blindsided by the Cho'Gall, it's so depressing to play against. Because as soon as he hits level 16 and he has like Rhaegar as his healer, it's just nothing you can do. You just sort of wait on him to get a pick with Upheaval and Shadowbolt. And then you can't kill him because he's got like 10 stacks of block and 10 stacks of spell block. So, but no, like if he's in the meta, like I think it'd be more of an issue for me if he was kind of outside the meta, and there's just those niche games where he's suddenly like broken and you have to pick him. But since he's like kind of being picked anyway, I think it's fine because you can plan around him, and you should be planning around him.
Hasu?
I actually like it. I think the more heroes we see in competitive, the better it is for the game. And as you said, Cho'Gall is very unique, so I think it's very cool to see him. Same for Abatur and Murky, for example. Even though I think Abatur was picked 3 times or something, Murky once, but it's just nice to see them. And I think because it's 2 heroes in one, it has to be impactful, and it actually is, especially if the opponent's team is not aware of it.
Kuz, what are your thoughts on
Okay.
Cho'Gall? Do you enjoy watching him when you see games?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get to that point where he's like so broken, of course that he's getting like picked up every game, and it's like annoying that you have to consider him in like the first section of the draft. But I think it adds a very good dynamic, especially for anyone like that's new that's watching the game. It's just like such a wild concept. Something along the lines of Murky that we saw at BlizzCon was just like crazy. Crowd was going nuts for it. So I think it's healthy for the game as long as it doesn't completely dominate and dictate the flow of the draft too much.
Zoya, you were making some shakes in your head when people were talking positive about Cho'Gall. Why do you hate him, man?
Fuck that hero, man.
Okay.
Jeez.
I don't know. I don't.
You have no chill.
I watch like scrims a lot, and like I see Cho'Gall so much, and I don't know, he's not fun for me. I just don't enjoy watching his games. They're very slow. They're very low on kill counts. I prefer when people are fighting and dying. I'm very simple minded like that. I just want to see explosion, boys, and Cho'Gall doesn't do that. He just kind of outlast. So it's just not the playstyle I like. I think he's very fun for like new players, like you said, the concept of like, whoa, that's 2 people controlling 1 character in a competitive match. That's cool. So I think it's good for the game. I just don't like him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think.
Excuse me, I said 2 heroes. I had questions about Jake. 2. And I didn't mean Cho plus Gall.
Take it away.
I didn't mean Cho plus Gall.
I'm just going to
Take
truck
me
quickly.
away.
So going to truck quickly to say that they just announced on Twitter that you're casting Heroes of the Dorm, Jake.
Wow. That's hype.
That's weird.
Really?
Congrats. I did not know this.
Oh man.
I'm so surprised.
So hype arena, boys. Well, yes, so that is why. So, shout out to Blizzard for announcing this suddenly after I complained about it on the show. Wink. And no, maybe it's just really convenient timing. It probably is. So yeah, that's very exciting. That's why I'm away for 5 weeks. So it's nice to be able to announce that yes, I am working on Heroes of the Dorm, and we're working on a bracket show, which is a project I've never done. Kind of cool, honestly, just because it's like very different from your average casting gig, because it's more like doing a lot of research on these teams, and like I've been watching tons of replays all week long, and just kind of like reading stats and learning about the teams, and creating talking points for this bracket reveal show. So it's a very fun project, and I'm working at Disney World at ESPN. So I'm at the ESPN studio here in Disney World, and that's pretty darn cool.
Congrats. This is my first time saying that.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. But continuing on, Zoya, what heroes did you want to ask about?
Wait, before you go on, Cho'Gall had a 20% win rate.
Damn, feels bad.
Just for that.
Not too
Any-
good, yeah.
Not so good.
NA was higher.
Yeah, but
So Jaina, she's in a really interesting spot right now. Almost non-existent through a lot of the drafts in Europe, and starting to feel about the same in NA. She's still like a fantastic hero. Like her kit's just really great, but with the introduction of so many good heroes, like with the Bust Lunara, Greymane, we have Li Ming, and now Xul. Jaina's in a really interesting spot to the point that teams are just not running her almost at all anymore. And I was just curious about your guys' thoughts on her.
I think you nailed it, actually. She is very good, but the latest assassins we got are actually better in most cases. I think Jaina's cooldowns might be slightly too high, or I mean, if they lower her cooldowns, she has to deal less damage, because otherwise she would be broken as fuck. So, yeah, it's. I'm not exactly sure what that has to do to get her back in the meta, but she is very powerful. Like in some drafts, she fits extremely well.
Like, we as a team just don't like her at all. The style that you have to play with her, like, especially on the objective maps, which is kind of hard to take down the objectives since the scaling changes. Like, she doesn't have any sustained damage. So when you want to do an immortal, you get a pick, you go to the immortal, and then you lose the race if they have like Greymane, and you have Jaina, just because she doesn't do any damage to the immortal. So that's what we don't like about her, basically. Like, you can win team fights, great, and she's a top hitter in team fights, sure. But once you win the team fight, it's so hard to actually get stuff done. We just hate playing with it, so we usually avoid it.
Okay, Zoe, what was the other hero?
That was the last one.
Damn, dude, sorry. I'm like trying to fix my mic and respond to something.
Jake, apparently you're not casting Dorm anymore.
Yeah, they deleted the tweet. Now, Gilly's Twitter was wrong in that tweet, so I assume that's why they deleted it. They put at Gillyweed, but it's Gillyweed SC2.
Yeah, you're right.
So I assume they're just recreating it, but I did see that. There it is. They redid it. Nice. Nailed it. You guys are getting that live
First time.
the live Twitter. Hopefully the mic's better now. Again, I'm not at my home PC. So, okay, so regionals overall, I mean, there were definitely some really fun drafts, some really cool games. Some of the shot calling.
Downtime was killer, man.
The downtime was so actually that's a great point.
Yeah.
I found like the downtime between games to be fine, but for whatever reason they were running commercial breaks after the draft, and that's what was killing me. Do you have any insight as to why that was the case?
So I actually spoke to casters, players, just admins about this, and I asked them why. Like, it makes no sense. And the reply I got was that previously, they've had a lot of issues where teams are not getting ready on time, and they felt like giving an immediate 3-minute break would give enough time for some tech issues to get sorted, for everyone to be readied up with the proper mounts, because of course some mounts were causing bugs with the game. And then they could start after the 3 minutes. I'm pretty sure after the event, everyone's in agreement that that was actually the wrong decision. But I can see why they did it. It's just a bit annoying that it had to be tested at a time like this, and we can do it on a smaller tournament first.
If you've got people sitting on an analyst desk too, it's like that's a great time, because usually it's like a draft happens and you just see like chats just like, well, who won the draft and all this stuff. It's like if that type of thing doesn't get mentioned or broken down, that's like the perfect thing to do to fill that time while everyone's kind of setting that stuff up. And I thought maybe it was like just from a technical side, so that they could fill out that document. It was just like, this is who's playing what hero after the draft had been sorted out. But I don't think that was the case in NA. They didn't need that extra time for that. So
no, and we didn't have an analyst desk. Like, if you need to kill time, that's what the analyst desk is for.
Yeah.
Analyze shit.
Exactly.
Or like, I don't know. It
seemed like an odd decision.
If they didn't have an analyst desk, that makes sense. Sure, you need the extra downtime to help do stuff. You don't want your casters filling constantly, 'cause filling sucks. But when you have 5 to 6 people on all the time, you can give the 2 on the desk break. When there's 4 people or 3 people on a desk, that's plenty of filling. Like Grubby, Caleris, and Todd filled for like 8 hours at BlizzCon. Because it's 3 people. So
it was a long time.
It's so easy to fill when you have extra people there. So I felt that I don't know, the breaks were really killer, and I think it definitely affected the viewership quite a bit.
Yeah, I think the event could have hit a much higher viewership. I
I mean, it was
live audience. I think it could have broke like what? It hit 33K or something.
Yeah, but it was
37,
consistently.
I think, was peak.
It got a high peak, but it consistently was like going down like 20K.
Wait,
like
what was
just
the
kept
peak?
dipping. Or
37, I heard.
37. Okay, I thought it was 33, but still, I think it could have gotten closer to 50. I truly do. With a live event, the atmosphere is much more exciting, especially when you have a crowd roaring. Let's talk about that crowd, because it never roared once.
Yeah, I mean the event itself was filled, but not so much because of Heroes of the Storm. It was more like because of League and Counter Strike.
What other Blizzard titles were there?
I think Hearthstone was also there. Actually, I'm not too sure because I was playing Heroes, so I had no time to watch anything else.
So Hearthstone and StarCraft were both there. They were both held in the auditorium, which is basically just a cinema, so attached to the Spodek. And I'd say we had consistently more viewers than there were in the cinema.
Really?
Yeah, it was not too bad actually, I think.
Huh. What I was going to say is when there are multiple Blizzard games, I actually feel like there's synergy, but it also works against each other because some players, might want to watch both, but if they have to choose one or the other, it can work against them for the crowd. So if StarCraft was staggered with Heroes, maybe it would have worked better because I definitely feel there's a good bit of crossover, but I mean, that's just speculation, really.
I think the main issue was that neither stage was actually ours. Heroes was kind of added into the event, and again, it was added too late for any people who wanted to see specifically Heroes to turn up specifically for Heroes, because all of the tickets were sold out. So if you wanted to see Heroes, you had to buy the premium ticket, and if you were buying the premium ticket, you may as well go to the main arena. Surely.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, someone made a Reddit thread today, actually. I think it got upvoted pretty high into the front page. It was just talking about like the general experience there, and they were saying something about the queues and just like in general getting into the event was quite difficult, and that may have contributed to just like the general audience size and everything.
So Reinforced, the Observer, just made a really good point in chat, by the way, about the finals being scheduled 1 hour later than it started, and there was no timer. So pretty much all the audience left, and then it was like, grand finals, guys. Woo!
Oh. So, I hate to beat this dead horse yet again, but we're going to. So, a week before your guys' regionals, Blizzard was like, hey, we're going to be kind and let you know that we're nerfing Rhaegar. Yet, you can't practice that new Rhaegar, so you don't know to keep playing her, you don't know to stop playing them. It's a really interesting thing. I'm just curious, A, how did you guys handle, like, knowing Rhaegar was getting nerfed and not knowing where he would stand going into scrims? Like, do you practice them? Do you not practice them? And B, can we say we need tournament servers for this very reason? We need something along those lines. Every other competitive game has it.
Yes, we need it. And so when it was announced, I think we knew it slightly earlier before it was announced to the public that it will actually happen. So
That's good.
The first day of scrims, when we knew Rhaegar was gonna get nerfed, he wasn't picked early, and it really confused us because we didn't want to pick him, but they also didn't want to pick him. So it was like, well, so where is he right now? And then after a few days, we figured that he probably is still pretty good. Like the biggest change is, I think, is Ancestral, because Splendor said the other talents, like it will not matter too much. It's just that his ultimate has a longer cooldown, so this is the biggest impact. And he's still very good at wave clearing. He's still very good in early game and mid game, I think. So, and what we saw at the end, he had still a super high pick rate and very early on in the draft. So even with the nerfs, Rhaegar is still very, very powerful.
Bakery, we saw a good variety of Rhaegar builds in general. We were seeing totem builds, seeing healing builds, and of course, Lightning Shield build really has fallen off with the changes to his talents. Where do you think the hero sits? Do you think he's in a place where there's like a lot of variety and he's still really good? Like, what are your thoughts?
Actually, I think the way that people played and drafted around Rhaegar this tournament was pretty awful. Like, the issue is every team had to go into the tournament and they had to basically guess like how good of a hero Rhaegar was, and for us, we guessed he was pretty bad. And Navi guessed he was still the best hero in the game. And obviously that didn't work out very well at all for them, although I'm not sure if that was actually the issue. But, now, I think pretty much the only way to play him is the totem build. At level 4, you do have some variance in your talent builds, although it's never going to be Stormcaller, because it just doesn't make any sense anymore.
It's awful. It's worthless.
Yeah, you don't really want to be using it, and since it's an 8-second cooldown, I believe, you may as well do the mana decrease on your chain heal, which ends up being a 5-second cooldown. Or of course Feral Heart, which is better if you're using both spells, or even Healing Totem. So I don't think Stormcaller makes any sense. Cleanse you still kind of need. If you're not taking it, you take Blood and Thunder. And then obviously Ancestral, because Bloodlust is still pretty bad and has too many weaknesses. Tidal Waves you need pretty much every game. I didn't really understand the nerf to Earth Shield, which was already not that great when you looked at Tidal Waves. And then they nerfed that, so you have to take Tidal Waves now. And obviously Earth Grasp at 16. So I don't think there's much build variance at all. And a funny story about the builds, actually, I played about 3 days of scrims going only for Healing Totem at level 4. And after that I concluded that I would prefer to have Feral Heart or Spirit Walker's Grace. So I didn't really take it again, and I didn't take it in the tournament. But somehow I'd accidentally got every other EU support to pick it. And so
No.
I had a very angry Dreadnought come up to me just before the finals and asked me why the hell I kept picking Healing Totem. And I told him, I don't pick Healing Totem. I've never picked Healing Totem. And he told me, well, I asked every other support here, and he told me they're doing it because you did it.
No. This was a problem in North America for a long time, where everyone played follow the leader, follow the leader. I hate to hear that.
I mean, I assume they thought it was pretty good, but I thought it was
Abuse the hell out of that. I love it.
Healing
Get
Totem
everyone to
is
pick bad
trash,
stuff.
man. It's situational, but that's weird.
This is
Hasu,
their secret strategy. This is how they won.
did you slap
No,
your
no.
support? You say,
Bad talents.
don't pick Healing Totem.
So sorry, what?
What do you think about Healing Totem?
Actually, to save Splendor's honor, I think he didn't go for a healing totem. I don't know though. I'm not 100% sure. But like to the point what Bakery said before, we also thought that Rega would be still very very powerful, and for us it kind of worked out. I think for Navi it was more of a team issue actually than the Rega picks.
Oh, okay. Well, any final thoughts in terms of like some of the tendencies that we saw from EU in terms of style, map picks, heroes, everything, even teams? Like any big shockers? Like I mean,
The whole weekend was a shocker, Jake.
Damn, Zoya. Targeted, productive question.
So, going back to the Fnatic Liquid series, the same one where we saw Murky vs Cho'Gao, a lot of people were surprised by the Murky pick in Game 3, but I was actually incredibly surprised by the lack of a Murky pick in Game number 2. It's literally the perfect situation for the Murky. Like, there's no better pick. It's Fnatic's go-to comp for that map, is the Murky with the Falstad. And they decide to not pick it, and obviously they just have huge issues with the Vikings, which obviously they knew they were coming. It's what Liquid does on Sky Temple. And if they would have just taken like the Murky Falstad, then it was a pretty free game, I think. And then they decide to make up for it by picking it like second rotation or whatever in the third game, and yeah, it was just really weird play around Murky.
All right. Murky is definitely a weird hero that brings some weird things to the table. But now we are going to shift over to talk about the balance changes. I have it just about ready to show. And Sick City. So, patch notes went out today. Actually, yesterday they announced, Spirium put out a little post on the forums basically saying all these heroes are getting a change without any real info. And I thought that was kind of cool, just to be like, hey guys, shit's about to hit the fan. Get ready for a sizable patch. And then today we actually got the patch notes. TLDR, there's a lot of assassins that are seeing some big changes, and some other slight nerfs to staples in variety of situations. Basically, for Falstad, what we're seeing is a buff on his spellcasting and Gathering Storm. This is a huge buff to it. Boomerang is seeing a nice sizable buff as well. Lightning Rod is seeing a big increase. Like pretty much across the board, they're like, all right, we want to see Falstad played like a mage. What do you guys think?
It's pretty sick actually, because Falstad is already very very good, I think, and now they are buffing the talents that are not picked that much. So maybe, I mean, Falstad will be still picked a lot, and maybe we'll see some new builds that actually might be even stronger than the ones we have right now. So I'm very surprised when I was reading the notes that he is actually getting buffed in every aspect.
I can't believe
thought
they didn't
maybe
nerf Gust.
Yeah, exactly. I thought they would nerf Gust a little bit, but they didn't touch it at all.
10, 20 seconds on the cooldown or something.
I think
was expecting something to Gust.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees. Gust needs to be 60 seconds. Bakery, what are your thoughts on Gust?
I don't think there's any question. Gust is just too forgiving at pretty much all levels of play, and definitely at pro play. I don't really understand why it hasn't had a cooldown nerf here at this point. About the changes though, like, I think they're good. like in theory that everyone's missing Maid's build, and I really like that they're trying to bring it back. But I feel like the real issue is that Maid's build makes 0 sense on Folstad in its current state, because it does not do more sustained damage and it does not do more burst damage. Just mathematically, because of the way that Secret Weapon works. Like, you pop like Hammerang with Power Throw, you get like 5 autos off or 4 autos off with Secret Weapon, and you will always do more damage in that time than anything you can do with Maid's build. So I just don't really see them ever being able to make Maid's build be played until we see some changes to the way that Secret Weapon works.
Huh.
Boomerang might be very strong though right now. I think the talent was already good, but as you said, Secret Weapon was much better. But now with the buffs to Boomerang, it might be very powerful, and it gives Falstad the option to actually poke quite a lot, because Q is long range, and then you let it explode. You hit maybe 1 or 2 targets. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it works, how strong it is.
Hasu, do you think there will ever be a place in the current state of Falstad where you would grab Hinterland's Blast over Gust?
What do you mean? Team Blaze did that once. It's already meta.
Jesus Christ.
So they hired the cooldown with a comment to make it more impactful or something, and then you have Gust that is basically always more impactful with a 40-second cooldown. I have no idea what Blizzard thought they were doing when they did it. And no, there is no way you're ever gonna get Hinterland's Blast. Shock and awe, or whatever you call it, but no, it's not good enough.
Okay. Yeah, I think we all agree that if they nerf Gust and bring it up to 60 seconds, it's good for the game because it'll make Bloodlust more viable. Moving down the list, what do we got?
Did we talk about the radius yet?
On Boomerang?
The buff to the radius and Boomerang. That's just don't in general sleep on that. Maybe it's not going to be super impactful, but any changes to radius is like a big increase to its overall area.
Yeah.
So just something to keep in mind as we go forward.
Huh?
Yeah, pretty much what Hasu was just saying. So it's definitely exciting. I'm pumped to play around with it a lot. Greymane.
I'm just gonna hop on what QB said quickly about the radius. A lot of people
call
didn't. What?
Could you call him?
QB? What?
You're fine, Baker. Go.
Moving on. Hopping on what QB said about radius. Radius around heroes is actually a huge deal whenever it gets changed, because you've got to remember that 90% potentially of the surface area, of the radius will be under the character. So for Rhaegar's Lightning Shield, increase it by 33% was actually like
OPOB.
tripling the range around the hitbox. So it was actually a huge increase. But obviously when you're increasing radius of skill shots, it's not as much because it's already got its own, it's not blocked by any hitbox. So.
Nice.
Thank you.
Alright. Greymane, TLDR, they increase his basic attack and they nerf Gilnean Cocktail. Pretty much across the board. So obviously right now in the state of Greymane, and especially in the highest level, we're pretty much just seeing Gilnean Cocktail builds. And they're really only buffing his auto attack damage, so do you think this puts Greymane in a kind of neutral position, Hasu, or do you think this is kind of a nerf to him?
I think we will... You think?
No.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to say, I think they're... Like, he will probably draft it in the same spot, and I also think people will continue to go for Q-Build, actually. I don't think it changes much for him. So, like, he is super strong right now, and he will be very strong.
You don't think there's any chance that you could play him with On the Prowl and the additional auto attack range as kind of like a pseudo Rainer that has a little bit more like kill potential?
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Okay. Bakery?
If Incendiary Elixir at level 7, just the part where it explodes even if it misses was in its base kit, then I think we could see a lot more build diversity. But it's pretty much impossible to get value from one of his only one skill, just because of the way his kit's designed. Like one of his skills turns him into a wolf, and the other's just an attack speed steroid. So he has pretty much only one ability, and if it's unusable, then he's just a really bad hero. So the 7 is just locked in pretty much always, and because of the 7, it just turns Q build into like a really effective build, basically. So I don't think we'll ever see too many builds that aren't Cocktail until we see some changes on that.
Huh.
This change does mean we might be able to see some variants at level 4, because level 4 is definitely not an important talent tier too much. It's just about the poke.
Should probably say that about 4, but not about 1.
I think the mana's really key. Like
We already see
Yeah.
a lot of
he has
variation
huge
at level
mana
1.
costs.
Yeah, well, not in the EU.
We used to, and then Perfect Aim was just too good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess if you're not going for a poke build, you can maybe go for
Wolfheart.
Wolfheart. Yeah.
We did see that a little bit in Europe as well. At least I remember it from scrims. I don't know if it was played at the regionals, but I saw it actually. So people are testing it in Europe as well.
I think there is one use case for Greymane, which has been pretty hugely buffed, and it might have been buffed out of control. But I don't want to reveal which use case that is. So,
Thanks for bringing it up then, bro.
Secret strats. Cubes, any thoughts on Greymane?
Yeah, I think we probably still will see the cocktail build. It ends up being something like a 50 damage nerf, which, yeah, it's over AoE, sure, but like I think it's still very, very usable, and it's shown that it's making the hero quite a bit more versatile than we might have expected, just like in terms of like all melee initially. So that will probably still be the go-to.
God, can you put some glasses on?
Yeah, hold on a second.
I gave you this little tortoise pick because I think tortoises. Oh
He's
shit!
back, baby.
All right, I'll accept. Going down the line, Li Ming. They nerfed her damage to structures. This is
Yes.
a big,
Yay.
big nice
Thank
nerf
you.
to magic missiles. I think everyone's happy about that. The Mirror Ball talent now increases the mana cost of magic missiles by 5. Kind of interesting. But you're getting additional missiles out of it. That's the level. It's 16 or 13. I can't remember.
16.
16.
Mirror Ball is 16.
Yeah. So it's just you're getting more missiles, but it's going to cost you more mana. She has no mana issues, so whatever. And then Fireflies now reduces the mana cost of magic missiles by 5. So
These changes are perfect. They like
Yeah.
it's
great
not going to
choice.
cripple the hero, and it's going to make her less obnoxious to play against.
Temporal
I like
Flux
it.
is probably one of the bigger ones too, because oh my god, is that
But it's
demoralizing
needed.
with the resets
Yeah,
happen, man? It is
definitely.
demoralizing to play against.
I don't think the nerf in this amount actually changes. I don't think nerfing this amount too much changes the like how obnoxious it is.
Yeah,
just
it's like a big one,
because
for sure.
as soon as you slow someone when they're running away, it's like global range, like the ultimate, and then they're pretty much guaranteed to die. And then as soon as they die, you just blink for it again and slow the next person. And if it's 60% or 40%, I still think you get to them. I still think they die if they don't have a gap closer.
Hasu, I like your glasses, man.
Dude, they had those.
Thanks, mate.
Those at the London launch, or where'd you get those?
I got it at Gamescom.
Oh, nice. I've never seen those in America. I'm just sad now. I feel.
But
like
you didn't get any in Euro, right? In Prague, they didn't hand it out again.
I was too
think?
busy, man. I was always at the desk.
Uh,
All right, moving on. Vala. There.
Ah! I said yesterday, if they buff auto attack and nerf multi-shot build, I'm gonna be pissed. And guess what they did? Buffed auto attack and they nerfed multi-shot build. Man, I love multi-shot build. It's so much fun.
So, hey,
she's such
Jared,
Ah!
stop going Super Saiyan. Holy shit, calm down. It's gonna be okay, man.
No, it's not okay.
Multi-shot build is probably globally the most common, I would say. Even though we do see
Well,
a
we're
fair,
seeing the hybrid build
we
now.
see a fair bit of hungering and once in a while hybrid. You hate that much just because multi-shot's fun? Why else do you hate
I think
it?
she's so close to being like an amazing hero, and she's honestly just so fun to play, and I just love the poke style.
I agree.
I don't think auto attack's the right direction for her. I think she's got two of the best spells in the game, and it's very versatile. Hungering Arrow build's great versus heroes like Zeratul, Greymane, the dive ones, even Li Ming when you go in a 1v1. And then the multi-shot build's always been good for spread poke damage and delaying and stuff. I think both those two builds are what should have been focused on, and not auto attack. I think auto attack Vala is just boring.
I think the stream's really upset that you didn't actually go Super Saiyan now that they see you. So Hasi, what do you think about Vala?
I agree with Zoya. I actually, fully agree. I don't think Vala should be a pure auto attack hero, or like the way they nerfed multi-shot. I'm not too sure exactly how much it will be, but I think you will feel the difference. So maybe she might be weaker now. I'm not sure though. I cannot really judge. I have to try it. But I also agree. I like the W build the most. So I'm a bit sad to see that. And then maybe a slight mana reduction on one of the talents would have been great.
What about the changes to Rain of Vengeance? A little bit more damage. It's a talent that's picked maybe.
Some
20.
people tweeted out that it hit considerably harder, but
I mean that's a sizable up
That's
increase.
100 per.
Yeah.
That's sizable.
So.
For 2 waves, it goes joosh joosh, just like
Yeah,
that.
what
It makes
does it
that
do?
sound. Joosh
What noise?
joosh.
Oh, okay.
It's a 40% damage increase. It's pretty huge.
It's quite a lot, yes. But using Rain of Vengeance usually means Vala has to get very close. So most of the time there is like a setup stun, and then you use Rain. So
if you're going
maybe
auto
we'll
attack,
see
now
it.
you're going to be close anyway. So
yes, exactly. So we might see it with auto attack Valas.
So what about the changes to Caltrops? There's a bit of an upgrade there. The damage has gone up significantly from 30 to 45 for each Caltrop, and the slow has increased to 30%. So if Vala is a little bit more in your face, she's going to be less of a ranged poke. She's going to be more of a mid-range hero, kind of in there using those big autos, and then potentially Caltropsing to safety after casting Rain of Vengeance. I mean, stylistically, it sounds like a very different hero, but with all these tweaks, it sounds like it could be relatively decent.
oh yeah,
No,
none of my
if you go
ranging
for
was-
auto attack, you go Searing attack. Come on, be a man.
True. Be a man. Go searing full hammer, nothing.
I mean, yeah, you go Searing, or if you really hate Searing, you go Hot Pursuit. I don't really understand why Caltrops would be useful in this. It's not like you're ever going to vote in, so.
Yeah, Jake.
I wanted to pick Vala like 20 times today and just kept getting picked before it was my turn, so I never got a chance to actually see how the auto attack build feels. It could very well be good. I doubt it just because she's so squishy and you have to get so close for it.
Hey
But
Zoe, I told you the auto attack build was good on a cast a few months ago.
yeah, I'm gonna hit you in the head.
Kubi, what do you think about Valo?
I mean, any attempts to drive something towards a little bit more build diversity is good, but if this just like completely eliminates multi-shot, then yeah, I know. It's one of those feel things, like Hasuobs is saying. It could feel bad. Maybe it's not as impactful. Something we got to play around with. But I would always love to see more auto attack Vala. I just think it's a cool way to play her, especially with like the lifesteal and the extra movement speed and everything. But if
But
it's
we have Reyna.
if you're just trading out build diversity, she's just so much more mobile though. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I hope it works out. I hope that they find that sweet spot for multi-shot to keep it viable, but I'm not sure.
I feel like it's actually enough to her, just like stay up. Like the issue with Valo in this current meta is that you get an auto attack range, which is also conveniently like
Greymane's
You're
gonna
in
eat
stun
your entire
range.
face.
Greymane range, Power Slide range, Sundering range, and with no unstoppable on her E, it's literally impossible for her to do anything. So you need to basically wait until they don't have any of their cooldowns, or your healer needs to blow its cooldowns on you when you are engaged on. And yeah, I felt like all that needed to happen to Vala, like literally all she needed to be a hero that was in a great spot, was they just needed to give her like maybe a tiny bit of health, like just a tiny bit, and then buff auto attack range by 0.5.
I think you might have mentioned that when you were on last.
I think I mentioned it.
I think you
Yeah,
did,
and
actually.
it's a good point. I still agree with it. A little bit more would go a long way.
Well, we'll have to see exactly how Vala pans out in the meta. She's not at all very common, even though she did see more play than Jaina in Europe this past week.
She's good. She's underestimatedly good. Like, she's better than Sylvanas. She's not in a bad spot, but I don't know.
Why did we
this is gonna
see
help
so
it.
little Jaina in EU?
We already talked about that earlier.
Dude,
Welcome back, Jake.
Jake, we literally had
I must
an entire
space
10-minute
hard.
discussion.
All right,
That was hero number 2, boys.
Hey guys, I'm gonna watch the VOD. I'm a little bit busy right now.
It's
so
3 a.m. where Hasuobs is, and he's following the conversation better than you, Jake.
Shit. Well, called out. I will accept my shame. You guys can shame me as hard as you want on Twitter. All right, moving on. We do have Abathur next on the list, and I think we can all let out a little sigh of relief that Vile Nest has finally received a nerf, because I hate that talent so much.
I'm surprised they kept the slow altogether. I was expecting when I heard Abathur nerfs, I was like, okay, they're just removing the slow from mines. I'm surprised they're still slow, to be honest, because that is the most annoying.
At least it took
thing.
duration and amount.
Yeah, they did nerf it. I like that I guess I like that they're doing baby steps with it. I was just expecting it just to be deleted, like no more slows, because that talent got a lot of complaints.
Jake, we never saw your predicted Wombo combo. Toxic Nest plus Purifier Beam. What happened to that?
Yeah, dude. I thought that would be so hype.
Oh, that sounded cool, man.
It did sound cool, man.
But it's just because Artanis is so bad. It would probably work if Artanis is better.
Yes! That's what I want to hear, Hasu. You're coming back on the show every week.
Okay, well, I'm just going to steal something that Dreadnought said to me at Katowice. And I'm giving credit, so it's not too bad, I think. But basically, his idea for mines is to lower how much you can talent into them, like specifically the damage one, and make it so that when you step on a mine, it puts your mount from a 5-second cooldown to an 8-second cooldown.
It's cool.
No.
So it accomplishes the same thing in terms of rotations. Like you put the mines down, they step on it, they're super slow on rotation because they've got 8 seconds off mount.
That was a cool
Sounds
dive.
very
There's really
frustrating,
nothing
actually.
Yeah, that sounds like the most cancerous thing I've heard in a while.
Yes.
But
I
wait,
did not
but
like
wait.
that idea.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Okay, continue. Please tell me how better this could get.
This is instead of the slow at 7.
So there's just mines everywhere that ruin your day?
Like, you can't mount for 8 seconds.
You can't mount ever anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
If you
That's
have
like the easiest collapse upon ever. It's like, oh, he got hit by Abathur mine. We got 8 seconds before he can do anything. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
As if getting hit by the 50% slow for 4 seconds wasn't worse.
I mean, it's bad, but I don't know if it's 8 seconds not being able to mount bad. That sounds worse to me.
Yeah, that sounds
I mean, it's
pretty
only
awful.
3 seconds off mount more than it would be anyway. That's not much.
Well,
3 seconds
You can't
is
say
a
it's
long
not
time.
much. It's
3
a
seconds is a
healthy
long
amount.
time.
I think the idea is interesting from that there's nothing really that interferes or like interacts with mount cooldown. So I think from that perspective, it's a cool idea. In retrospect, it's probably just as annoying as the mines are right now. But
The thing is, like, that's such a unique mechanic. I feel like Blizzard would be hesitant to do that kind of thing, just because, like, for a new player, that's not really that intuitive. Why can't I mount?
oh, you mean like Mortal Strike?
Damn. Yeah, we'll talk about Mortal Wounds a little bit later. Okay, well, obviously Abathur, they nerfed the mines. Carapace actually got buffed a little bit. They're just buffing that at base to try to make just the symbiote style Abathur a little bit more inherent. And they're, over time they've nerfed the Toxic Nest, they've nerfed the Locust, and made Abathur a little bit more of a symbiote and then clone bot. But I think it's mostly fine.
I think they buffed his W and Q the last 2 patches as well, right? So
Yes.
the E was missing and now they buffed it. So I think that's fine. It was needed actually. So especially now because they nerfed the mines, he needed a bit more love on his head. So that's good.
This will be good for some of those, melee heroes as well. Just kind of promote that play even further. Okay, moving down the line, Abathur, or Zagara, excuse me. So Hunter Killer, basically, they nerfed its health at level 1, but it will scale better. So this is just going to make Zagara a little bit less of a, crazy powerhouse at level 1 when it comes to lane. She's still going to be very good, but the Hydra will be a little bit more manageable. What do you guys think about that?
I disagree with you saying that Zagara is still going to be very good. I think that Maw nerf is huge.
Well, okay, we're talking about
wait,
Hunter
what?
Killer exclusively right now.
Oh,
we're talking about level 1.
Hello?
Yeah, we're talking about level 1 laning with the Hydralisk.
Well, I don't care about that.
Okay.
You don't care about that?
Somebody
Maw.
that does care about
But-
her laning presence with the Hydra changes.
I mean, her laning presence was actually disgusting, so I think a small nerf to it is fine. I don't know how much it will be in game, but I think it's a good change for sure.
Like,
So, good step.
pretty much before, it was such an awkward threshold for a lot of heroes, where you would use, like, your Q and you'd auto-attack it twice, and it would end up on, like, 30 HP. So you'd have to wait for, like, the third auto-attack or something. And, like, that threshold was just so annoying, so, like, lowering its health by 80, I think, is going to be hugely impactful to our lane
Yes.
matchups.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
I just find it's weird that they're nerfing Zagara's lane now when Xul's in the game, who just dumps hers on her in lane. Like,
Yeah,
she's
that's
not the
also
best
true.
anymore, and now she's getting nerfed even more.
Yeah,
so.
but Xul, they'll tweak, as they always do with new heroes. If they find that Xul's a little bit too strong, they'll nerf her skeletons or something. I mean, they'll find that balance, but Zagara's had a strong reign for a long time, and I think this is a good step in the right direction.
I don't know. I think that's one of the draws of her as a hero is her lane presence, and that's not necessarily
her
a
lane
bad
presence is still going to be great in the late game. They just nerfed it level 1. She bullies like almost
that's-
anyone at a lane level 1.
Well, that's
where
the only
it's-
time you're
where it's
laning.
needed. Yeah, yeah.
The only
yeah.
time
You-
lane phase matters is in the early
that's
game.
fair.
You pick Zagara to have that massive early game advantage to try to snowball that into something else.
That's
like,
true.
So whether it's enough for that she doesn't get picked for that reason, I mean, it's for that and it's for Maw, which we'll get to. But
Well, Kubi, what do you think about Ma? They've increased the cooldown from 100 to 120 seconds, which is a full
120 120-second cooldown heroics feel awful. It's just from like experience. They've messed with it so much. What's left in the game that's 120?
Very
Metamorph,
few.
Metamorphosis, and
Void Prison.
Interlins.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
not many, and like
Jesus.
they've actually probably moved more from 120 down than they have brought anything back up, and it's like for the reason that it just feels so bad. And this is it's going to be a big change.
But it's the type of heroic that can just straight up win a fight. And in recent development patches, especially with the changes they made to Hinton's Blast, which might be dumb, they said they want to turn some of the heroics in the game into really big playmakers that feel like they're high cost and high risk, high reward. And that's exactly what Maw is. If you land a bad Maw, that's like, oh man, that Maw didn't hit anyone. It's kind of a big deal, especially when you're telling the story of a team fight. But if you land a 3 to 4 man Maw, you can absolutely just turn a fight that was lost. Like it's a massively powerful heroic, and when it comes down to its cost, like I still think Zagara is fine. Like I think that the Hydra nerf will hurt her more than this Maw change.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
she,
I think
she
both
has
of these
she,
things nerf her hard.
she has battle momentum, so
Yeah,
even with the increase on the cooldown, you will probably see battle momentum every time taken now on 7, which before was contested between like endless creep and rapid incubation. So I think now with a more change, you will see battle momentum every time if you pick her, because I think you will need it. Otherwise, 120 seconds is too long. You cannot wait for ultimate that long, because
Yeah.
you can't team fight then ever. Like your team is telling you I have ultimates, but then the Maw is always missing a few more seconds, so you cannot really take a fight. But we will have to wait and see, I think. Maybe she's bad now, but I don't think so. But maybe she is.
I don't know. I love these changes. I think Zagara's an annoying hero. Very difficult to play against.
I
Like-
would agree she was very annoying, or she is very annoying, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just too much. But I feel like this might knock her off a bit. Like literally, like 90? Like what was all the infographics saying? Like she was the only support, the only specialist seeing play across the board. I mean, with Xul now, that'll change up a lot. But
yeah, a bit, yeah, for sure.
But
I mean,
don't know.
I think the buff to Tyrant Maw is really gonna bring it back.
Oh yeah.
I think people are really underestimating it.
Overall, Bakery, what do you think about her, like, realistically?
I think the 120 seconds is justified. Like, as we saw at Katowice, I think when you have a top level player who's really on his game playing Zagara, it's kind of easy to get some free wins against bad teams.
All right, great. Bakery, let's talk about one of your boys, a hero that you've kind of become known for, Karazim. Now they've basically upped the heal on Breath of Heaven, but Echo of Heaven saw a nerf. So the inherit heal up, the talent down. Thoughts?
So, I think the point of this change was mainly to increase his build diversity. But I think it actually locked in his 16 completely. So they've kind of freed up 7, but locked in 16.
Interesting. Just because the amplified damage means that much more now.
Yeah, Circle of Life was already pretty great, but sometimes you could justify taking Blinding Speed or Soothing Breeze, and now Circle of Life is just far too good to pass up. So we'll never see anything but Circle of Life now, I think.
I think that's fine though.
Yeah, I mean, I think 7's probably more important to have some diversity.
Plans on make
Plans.
that more viable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Wave 100 Fists as well is really underrated. Like, I think it actually allows him to have some pressure on backline if the backline is like Lunara or Li Ming even.
So is this like the healing ward on Rhaegar, or you're making a true Bakery serious point right now?
No,
He's not gonna tell you that. It's the secret of his strat.
Like, so Wave 100 Fists is like something ridiculous, like 600 damage at level 20.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And so you can use 2 of them, that's like 1,200, and that's half of Li Ming's HP. So,
Cool.
I mean, I think it's like actually a really good talent. And I mean, yeah, it's just a really good talent. So I think we'll actually see that when we, like sometimes, when we don't need the healing and when we don't need the cleanse. In terms of what this means, it means that his early game, like his brawling, which was already pretty strong, is actually, I'd say, probably insurmountable now. So if you ever want to fight for Vision and they have a Karazim, it's probably best to just run away. Because it really is a huge buff across the entire team at level 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, the obvious is you can take the cleanse at 7. Which is... So overall, I think this is a pretty considerable buff to Karazim.
Yeah.
I don't think he especially needed one. I think he was actually the best support at the time of Katowice. Because I don't rate Rhaegar so highly anymore.
Interesting. There's such a big disparity in that thought for NA.
That is a
and
very
EU.
unique perspective.
Like-
well, I think that's even unique to Bakery.
Well,
Not
no,
even
no,
all of
across
them.
the
No,
board.
A lot
actually,
of EU teams value him quite highly.
Yeah,
Really?
I think
Yeah.
the same actually. Like for us, it was Rhaegar and Karazim.
And Tassadar, those are the top 3 supports. And even Tyrande was above Uther. Like, Uther saw tons of play in NA regionals, but almost, like, he was really uncommon in EU. It's kind of cool. I like that a lot. I like the differences.
I can't argue in situations where they free up talent tiers just to get like more build diversity. No one wants to just see that one cookie cutter, so I'm all for it. Hope it works out and they can get more talent changes like this in the future.
Alrighty. Next on the list is probably the hottest topic in this whole patch for at least the internet right now, and that is this massive list of changes to Artanis. Now, they seem to have done a bit of an upgrade for all of his warrior talents to try to make him a little bit more of a tank. But they, there's a pretty much 100% pick rate talent. I have completely flubbed the production. Sorry about that. There's like a 100% pick rate talent on Artanis. Known
Jake's
as
hacking the mainframe.
triple strikes. Yeah, I'm going into the Matrix, boys. And triple strikes now has an additional cooldown duration added to it, I believe is what
Yeah,
it was.
extra second.
1 second added on to triple strikes. So, what do you guys think about Artanis?
I mean, again, this is them moving in that type of direction where they want to try to, free up that talent diversity. Whether that's a bit much for the second cooldown. I mean, they did buff phase Bulwark a little bit as well, so.
Like the shield surge talent is like huge.
But yeah, shield surge is not something you can pick. Like, if Zealot Shards was any other tier,
it's
then
literally
I think
part of
he'd
his
be
kit.
broken after you get, because like I did the math earlier. It's like 1,800 shields, and you can have it every 5 seconds. Like if you were to have Zealot Shards as well, but because you don't have Zealot Shards, like he just ends up running around in circles in the middle of the team fight, not able to attack anything, and then just dies super quickly.
Okay, come on. He's good. He's a fine hero as
With
long as
with
people are
Zealot
not
Shards,
running away from him
it's-
or people aren't killing him. So as long as you're not doing one of those two things, Artanis is in a fantastic place. So please, guys, just be a little bit, alright?
About
Right.
the nerf to triple strike, I actually think this was like really confusing. Like, because if you looked at when Artanis had some success, like the few times that he's been picked, like even in Hero League and like in competitive, pretty much every time we saw them with phase bulwark at level 13, because like that spell shield was just super impactful. And so what they decided to do now is they decided to give him like 100% uptime on spell shield, and then make something.
Well, you
pretty
got to
much
realize that when they balance, they use the numbers globally across the board. And triple strike for the average Hero League game or quick match game is seeing about probably a 90% pick rate because of how impactful
I
it
agree.
is.
It was
Sure,
picked
but
too
what's his
much.
overall win rate?
Yeah, probably pretty poopy.
The win rate was always higher on phase bulwark than it was on triple strike.
I'm like the worst person at mathing in the world, but Cattleprod in chat just said that triple strike actually gets you 1 additional auto attack every 10 seconds. Like, that's so bad.
That can be the difference between nothing.
A cheeseburger and a bacon cheeseburger. Like, no, that's actually even generous. And I don't know why I said that. I guess I'm hungry.
Yeah, there's a big difference between a bacon cheeseburger and a cheeseburger, Jake. There's a significant change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hasu, do you think what do you think about Artanis? Do you think this is going to help him? You think he's not even worth considering? Like, what are your thoughts?
I personally don't have too much idea about Artanis. Actually, we tried to make him work in scrims because Darkmog is a very talented melee assassin player, and we thought that Artanis might fit exactly that, but it was too bad. So maybe with the buffs, or I don't know if it's even a buff. I think I would need to ask him, but I mean his HP got increased, his health regen got increased a little bit, so maybe it's enough to see him drafted a few times. But maybe then it's more a warrior than a melee assassin. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know, to be honest.
Damn.
They did buff Templar Zeal as well, and as far as I know, that's the standard pick for level 4, which is the decrease cooldown when you're below 50% health, right? So that helps a little bit too.
Yeah. I think he got better overall, right? Like, we all agree on that?
Yeah,
or?
he did get better.
He's less of a bruiser, more of a tank.
Yeah. So maybe we will see him in like some kind of double warrior setup, or I don't know.
Probably. We saw him played a total of twice in NA, I think, and the one time they used him successfully was Blaze.
Versus Cloud9.
Wasn't it Blaze versus Cloud9? It was Cloud9 was running an Illidan comp. So. Yeah, it was Blaze versus Cloud9.
Cloud9 got bodied.
Yeah. The blind just it wasn't even close, man. It wasn't even close. So who knows? It's definitely good to have him be a viable option in some situations, though. You know, with this tanky style, I think he could be very strong. But time will tell. Trixler has been. I mean, I'm in Orlando with Trixler, and he's been saying that Artanis is a god for like the last 2 days. I guess he knew this patch was coming, or he's just a true believer.
Oh, he's
a true believer.
Artanis, like it's non-ending, dude.
Oh God, there he is. Oh no, he's telling me we gotta talk.
I was watching his stream, and he told me they had a challenge for me, and his challenge was that we had to pick our Tannis at regionals.
Log in to Skype, Trick.
Log into Skype?
Yeah. We're gonna pull you in. We're gonna do this live. All right, we're gonna get Trixler in the show, guys. Are you allowed to do that?
It could be like
10 seconds. All right, Trixler will give us some words. So overall, I think everyone agrees that Artanis is not a god, and he's a bad hero. And I'm just saying this because Trixler's next to me. But no, I think he'll be in a pretty good spot. Just less of a warrior.
Start. It is a start. I'll say that.
All right.
And based on just how they've been doing the last couple patches, thumbs up to this. Just more of this little. I mean, this is a lot of changes, but a lot of them feel like they're not super duper impactful. Some good stuff here and there. So hopefully it's just a good nudge.
All right, Tim.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Hi, Tim.
Listen,
Hey.
Hey, hello everyone.
Hey.
I just need to talk to someone in particular. It's my long lost friend, Zoya. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Bro! Why are you hating on the best hero to ever grace the Nexus?
You mean
Artemis.
Murky?
Artemis.
Artemis. The legend. The myth. The guy that destroys anyone in the way of his Psyblades.
You can't say that when your most played hero is Murky and you're wearing a Cho shirt. I
Oh,
don't see
wait,
any Artemis.
Wait, Jay.
Camera, turn that off.
Jay, do you have the Gao shirt?
No, man, I don't.
What?
We can match. It'd be good.
That's
By the
fine.
way, awesome job, guys, in the EU tournament. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You were great. I watched you and I cheered you on, and thumbs up. You're legends. Just like Artanis. That's the tier that you're on, dude. On Artanis tier. How does that make you feel?
That's some hardcore flame right there.
Oh.
What the hell?
One day, in 2 years, you guys will know that Artanis was the best hero in the world. Calling it this right now.
In 2 years? Within 2 years. Okay, that's a big time.
That's a Jake prediction.
There's some bloodlust shit right
Yeah,
now.
that's
You know?
like,
Nah, I just had to get on here because every single stream, Artanis is horrible. Dan's game. Nah, man, we need more Pog champs. Because he's the best. Eventually. Eventually. Although I do want to say, like, some people are like, put Zealot charge at baseline. I've heard that as a suggestion. Dude, that would be insane. Like, he'd be the most broken hero in the game. Rhaegar
If he had Zealot charge, he'd be really
Oh
strong.
god, no, that'd be so broken, dude.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
so cool. But if that suggestion is like people actually want, I think Blizzard would have to really tone down his numbers, right? But I don't know. Hopefully people can figure him out and get him down. I think he's slowly progressing to something that can be competitively viable. I understand you guys have some concerns for sure, but I just want to say I love him. That's
I
it.
love your optimism.
We
I
will
love
try him actually for sure.
All right, I'm gonna get off your show. I just wanted to hijack and say hi to Jake and all that stuff. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening and stay off drugs.
Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, what a handsome nerd. If you guys saw the announcement they made tonight, of course Trixler and I are in Orlando together because we're doing separate tiers of the dorm. Very exciting, but very cool that we get to hang out here for a while. All right, let's continue on with the patches. Kubi, your girlfriend got Wrath nerfed. How do you feel?
This should still be good. Still be very, very good, I think. In terms of like its uptime, it's still like a very, very good ability that teams are just able to kind of feed in such a way that it's like almost always up. So I think it's just quite fair. We see her a lot very early in the drafts. I don't think it's a problem. Not like some of the nerfs that we've seen in the past to her, kind of unwarranted. I think this is okay. I'm not upset with this.
Anyone else have any thoughts on this? Or is it just kind of like, yeah, whatever, Sonya's still good?
I think she's still good, and I think it was needed because people just spamming Wrath of the Berserker everywhere, and it didn't matter at all. So I think it's a good change.
Yeah, like we've been playing scrims and stuff, and we see someone just randomly pop Wrath. I'm like, hey, we can punish
Yeah.
that, and then he just farms the wave for like 1 minute, and then it's back
Yeah.
up. Like it's back up as soon as it goes down.
So, could this promote more Leap, or
No,
probably
no.
not?
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so.
No.
I mean,
I
Very
think this-
quickly, 4 people saying no, Jake.
Feels bad, man.
I don't think Leap is that bad though, but it's
I
just
has a
think
very
it's
niche.
pretty okay.
It's a very
It has a
niche pick.
place.
Yeah.
Then there's a few other just small bug changes, bug fixes. I don't think it's anything major.
The Murali thing was actually forbidden in Europe. Like we figured out how to do it. That Muradin gets his mana back, and it was like a bug with the Haymaker on level 20. So that's probably what they fixed.
I had no
I mean,
idea.
no one
When
used
the
it, but
admins told us, they were like, "There's a bug with Haymaker," and we'd been practicing a ton of Haymakers. We're oh no, he's level 20 talent. I'm like, oh, thank God.
It's really funny.
I think maybe the only other player that knew it was Jove from Team Liquid, because he was playing Haymaker almost every setup, and he probably tried the level 21 and figured it out as well. So, but it didn't really influence the tournament at all. So
That's good. Alrighty, well, that's the patch notes we had here. I guess we could do like a biggest nerf, biggest buff. Who would you guys say got the biggest nerf in this patch?
Zagara?
Valor?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Zagara on this one. It's my yeah.
I would
I'll say
agree with
Zagara.
Zagara.
I'd say the guy as well.
Alright, biggest buff.
I don't even remember all the changes at this point.
Karazim?
Probably Falstad?
Alt
Or
stuff?
Karazim, yeah.
Karazim. Or then maybe Greymane.
Interesting.
We have to wait and see what Dignitas has in store.
Artanis!
So yeah. All right, we're powering through. We're gonna try to keep trucking along because I see you guys are 3:15 a.m. So thank you so much for staying awake with us.
Troopers.
Troopers. Oh man, I got gifts. Why do I have gifts? What are these?
What?
I haven't been able to log into Heroes for a
From
few
regionals
days.
or from the portraits.
Oh yeah. Nice. What's this one?
Beautiful.
Why didn't I have that yet?
I like it though.
Nice. All right, Xul, the new boy on the block. He's honestly really good. I think one of the well, let's just talk about him. He's got great lane clear with Spectral Scythe, and then Curse Strikes is not only good lane clear, but it's utility. It's good against any melee hero. He's got a guaranteed lockdown that has a 2-second delay, but is a 2-second root with a 12-second cooldown. Poison Nova does a ton of damage, can be healed through. Double support seems to be a decent response to it, but it is a huge presence. And even Spectral Mages or Skeletal Mages doesn't seem that bad. But let's start by talking about his trait, Ray Skeleton. What do you guys think about it?
Pretty good.
Right,
I
so
like Sylvanas 2.0, but
yeah, it's like so Sylvanas possession is pretty clear to me now. Should just be like a passive. Like
Yeah.
you hit level 10, you tap possession. Every minion that dies on the effects of Black Arrow just reses for your team. Like
You think that'd be a good way to do it?
I think that's a great way to
So
do it.
if they
I
were
think
to
the
give
most
that's
toxic
actually,
game I've ever played.
I think that's actually maybe viable.
All right, so
Like
if they were to make that like a passive, what do they do for heroic? Just wailing?
that is the heroic. It becomes a passive.
well, yeah, it's just a lot.
Oh, you grab the heroic, and then it's just a passive thing that you inherently have.
yeah.
I don't know if
that-
they'd ever do that just from like a functionality standpoint. Not to say that they couldn't
like,
implement it,
Rainbow
but
Goblin.
Huh.
that's true.
That's
That
true.
is very true. I
That's
forgot
true.
about RoboGoblin.
That could be cool.
Kind of deleted
But
that hero in my mind.
then wouldn't Sylvanas Xul be like the scariest thing ever?
Xul's
I
already
mean-
just dumb enough. We don't need to compare.
Yeah.
Waves is like super easy to clear. Like people forget how easy they are to clear.
That's true. Huh. Interesting. All right, so back on the topic of Xul. I mean, just great utility in general. Where do you guys think he fits in the draft? Is he the new
First pick, first ban.
He's first pick, first ban.
First pick, first ban. Like, people let him through scrims one game, first pick, first ban the rest of the time. Like, it is that big. It's such his E makes no sense to me. It just, even from a low standpoint, it's like, hey guys, I'm announcing that in 2 seconds I'm gonna stun this target so you can easily follow up with no preparation at all. It's like, wow, you're such an easy hero. Let's not talk about bounce. I think he's actually very boring. I think he's the most boring hero released in a very long time. I think his kit's not fun at all. I think it's very just like you push button.
He's a
and
farm.
then it
He's a
does
farm
things.
hero. You farm.
I
lane.
think I think he's one of the most boring heroes we've had in a while.
Dude,
I do not enjoy playing him
That's
at
like a
all.
wheat sickle. He goes and goes.
A wheat sickle?
Are they called sickles?
A wheat
Okay,
sickle?
that's a scythe, first of all, and that is kind of what scythes are for. Classically.
A wheat sickle? Hello! I just got untilted about Xul, and I'm tilted about Jake's vocabulary. What is a wheat sickle?
He's done.
Nice. Great.
Bacon
Hasuobs, what do you think
cheeseburgers,
about his wheat
sickles.
sickle?
I haven't played him yet, to be honest. I had no time. We were playing only scrims, and I asked Grubby to showcase some on his stream, and it looked very strong. It looks super strong. Like, people told me his passive is has too much range. Like, you're idling in the bush, and then the skeletons
Yeah.
race on the lane and stuff. So.
What if
Like
you could
Blizzard-
disable that? Do you think that would be better? Because if you're ever hiding in the bush, like you said, it shows
Good
you
question,
there. If you just press D to turn it off, I think that would be kind of a nice feature.
Maybe to make him even better, yeah? Why not?
I mean, there's nothing on his D, because obviously they
Or
decided
like
to put
saying
bone armor
Xul's
on one.
enjoyable because he's OP. Like, why do you cut his numbers in half and tell me how fun that kid is to play? Because I don't think he destroys everything. That's why people are enjoying him right now. But that kid is not fun at all. Winning games is fun. And Xul, Xul does
I
that.
haven't played him. I haven't played him at all, but I actually think he's really fun.
You're crazy.
Like, I like playing against him. It's dynamic.
Bye,
Like,
Timothy.
Oh, playing
If-
against him can be fun, sure. I'm talking about playing him specifically, being the Xul.
I like playing Xul myself. I find that it's nice to be able to just rotate quickly, and also I've been running a skeleton build, and fighting in lane versus someone and having like 6 skeletons spawn behind them and then watch them just get absolutely slaughtered is hilarious. And then watching my health bar go from like half to full when I kill a whole lane of minions, yeah, man, it's fun. That's entertainment. That's quality Hollywood
Saying
right
it's
there.
like being OP is fun.
Yeah, dude. It's
To
great.
try out Li Ming, she's pretty fun
this
too.
Li Ming was
Balance
also a lot of fun, yeah, exactly.
Balance team.
No, but
got it.
I enjoy the dynamic. I enjoy level 20. I like the fact that he doesn't have Bolt of the Storm and they gave him the Bone Spear, because I think that's kind of cool. And a few times I've actually run Q build with the damage on level 1. Now, granted, these are just random quick match games, but I'm running the damage from the shield, the explosion there. I'm running Q build for the slow and the additional range. And then at 20, I'm getting Bone Spear, and I'm always getting Poison Nova at 10. And I basically kamikaze into the middle of the fight. I throw everything I can. I get the explosions out. I get all the damage done, and I end up trading 4 for 1 because of the amount of damage I put
Now,
out.
keep in mind, he did say that he does this in quick match. You also keep in mind this is Jake's MMR quick match, so it's even
Damn, so yeah.
You set yourself.
I think
up
our
for that. You can't
MMR
be
is
mad about
identical, dude. So
that. Yeah,
Quick
let
match,
me just
maybe.
let me just do a quick fact check on that. Just real quick though.
damn.
How good is Bone Spear on 20, by the way?
It's a 10-second cooldown that costs 0 mana and does almost identical damage to his Q.
His
So
Q?
you can do around 700 damage with the Q and his Bone Spear, I believe, at level 20.
And it hits more than one target, right?
It's
It pierces
AoE.
through.
It's AoE. So if
Okay.
you can clump people up, it seems to be very powerful.
it's kind of like Lunara's Vine, right?
It's quick, direct line, but yeah, it's pretty similar to the Vine. It's not quite as fast as that.
Mhm.
It travels a little bit slower, I believe.
I think
That's good.
I really have a problem with his level 20 poison. I think that's such a terrible design for level 20 heroic upgrade. 1% extra damage,
Per
a
tick.
second. That's 10% total. I think that's such boring design. Level 20s are supposed to be cool, flashy, and impactful. And it's
Yeah, I
literally just,
agree 100%.
10% across.
For
That
sure.
is such a boring talent. That is such bad design in my opinion. That is just so lame. There's nothing
mean-
cool about that.
Something that I would have. There's 2 things that I would love to see, but I'm not sure if either them. Okay, well, one of them is broken, the other one's useless. So one of them is once it hits the max range, it returns to you. So just in case you don't hit anyone, you hit everyone again.
Oh, you mean it goes out as a shockwave and it comes back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Diablo's Firestorm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the other one is its global range.
Global range?
Yeah. That would be so
Like
fun.
Earthbreaker or whatever it's called on
You talking
Pro.
make it Poison Nova
It just
global?
keeps going.
Yeah. What? You would have to like not be able to hit buildings then or something. It's literally you just clear the entire map with 3 ults.
You just walk to the center of the map and you hit R. Call it a day.
You get the right angle and kill a keep from, I don't know, your base, basically.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty interesting, but obviously after a few, we got Dunk Train's impressions last week, and Zuna, and they were talking about Mortal Wound being
Oh yeah.
kind of, the best talent to ever enter the game, especially if you're an aspiring support player. Bakery, what do you think about Mortal Wound?
I think it makes 0 sense. Like it's just awful. I mean, it's like honestly, I enjoy the healing reduction, but what I don't enjoy is the implementation, right? So what would have been really nice is if you see the Ancestral coming, like it should have been like you see the Ancestral coming and you think that's the target I want to hit. So you hit it and it denies the Ancestral. It's a sick play, right? But it's not an instant skill shot. So they put it on a skill shot that's delayed. So it's not like you can react. It's not that you can see the Ancestral and deny it. Like you just have to like put it on the target and then hope he gets low enough so that Ancestral comes out with the healing reduction still on. And having it be 75% is just I don't know. Like the whole talent, like I don't know, I feel like if you put it on a skill shot, like maybe something like Mjolnir's done. So the same thing as Bone Spear basically, but this one does no damage and just causes them to take 75% reduced healing. Like something like that, it makes it actually fun. Like you see them about to get palmed, so you hit your healing reduction spell, you hit them with it, and then the palm does like nothing. Like that makes it interesting and it makes it fun to play against. Because obviously you need to try and not hit your thing in this 1 second of healing reduction.
I think that's actually worse for the top.
Well,
maybe that's better for like the lower ends of play, but for the top ends of play where people are going to hit that skill shot every time, that is like a guaranteed kill every single time. I think that might be better for like lower levels of play, but the top level that's too OP.
But if it's 1 second or 0.5 second of reduced healing.
Yeah, you're right. If it's a shorter duration, true. I definitely agree with you completely that the implementation
it's such a brain
of
dead
this.
implementation of
especially with the reduced cooldown on the Q.
Yeah.
It's like every 4 seconds you get that debuff out. Like it's insane. It legitimately removes your role from the game.
Do you think if they added cooldown on the Q for Mortal Wound, so if you pick Mortal Wound, your Q has an increased cooldown, do you think that would balance it a little bit?
Well, no. Like this talent can never be balanced in its current state because it's kind of just.
All you have to do is do it once. All it takes is you landing that at once at the right time, and the game's done. When you're level 20 plus, death timers are too long. That all it takes is one death, and that guarantees a death every single time.
It's actually true, yeah.
Unless it's like versus Uther, where Divine Shield's the only thing that can, be able to counteract that, where it's just you don't need the heal, you just get the save from Divine Shield. That is the only thing. But when it's like an 4 second cooldown versus whatever Divine Shield is, 60 seconds now, 50 seconds.
90.
No, 90 now. That's right. It got nerfed even more.
Wow.
It's a harder. It's too good.
Although food for thought, it does have the lowest win rate at the highest level. Just looking at hot slugs really quick compared to the other levels.
Well, yeah, I'm not even arguing that it's good. It's just a stupid implementation of it because your play with it is to hope that you can hit a Q, which is very easy to dodge, like on a target as Ancestral needs to go off, and then yay, we won the game. Good job, guys. Like I don't know.
That's
I hate
fair.
it.
So the general consensus, Kubi, any you haven't chimed in on it. You weren't here last week either. So.
On Xul in general?
Yeah,
or
Mortal
just the level 20 talent tiers?
Well, in Xul in general, what are your thoughts?
He's stupid good. Nothing more than what's already been said. He's just basically it feels like a rework of like where Sylvanas used to sit, where she was just like picked all the time just for like that silly good lane presence, and like that's just where Xul is now. Which I don't know. I have mixed feelings about like how exciting that is to watch, but we'll see when Korea rolls around. I don't know. Still, obviously, a lot of verdict out on that, but I'm not super excited about it, or at least not as much as I was for Li Ming.
And Mortal Wound?
I've heard very mixed results on it. Some people are saying that it's super super good just because of like the time in which it applies, and then I've just heard other people saying that it's just not as impactful as people thought it was. So again, verdict out, but it's probably better than people are giving it credit for if they're discrediting it.
Okay, any closing thoughts on Xul? Anybody have any final opinions on him? Where you think he should go? Where do you think he is now?
He just needs some pretty severe numbers nerfs. And, mortal wound to be taken out and reworked.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like whether mortal wound is necessarily like the most overpowered broken thing in the game or not. It's not fun. Being a support versus mortal wound is like disheartening. Like, you literally do nothing when it's up. It's
Do you
just
think
not
we
fun
will
to
see it
play.
next patch already? I have a feeling they might change his numbers a bit, but don't remove talents yet. But
You're probably right.
yeah.
I can't believe that the Tracer thing isn't on the front page anymore, but I guess there's been a lot of news because that is our next topic. So Game Informer had a digital issue that came out which revealed some info on Tracer as a hero. I thought there was an image.
Really, I hadn't seen that yet.
So
Yeah, it was some kind of article, right?
yes.
That explained a bit of the abilities or the way she's played, I think. Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised that the one thing that stuck out to me in the article was that they said how well she felt in Heroes. Like they translated her Overwatch kit to Heroes very well, to the point that it feels like the very same hero. That's what surprised me the most. I was expecting it to just be very different, but because when you translate the Diablo heroes over, right? That's not that hard to do. It's very similar play style, very similar in abilities. But when you're going from an FPS to a MOBA, you would expect that transition to be much more difficult to grasp. And from what they said in the article, they nailed it. Like, the Tracer feels very much like Tracer in Overwatch, and that surprised the hell out of me.
So some things they've said. They said she comes out in April. They say that she is a mobile ranged assassin, and she can become a glass cannon, precision poker, or crowd control specialist. You can build a variety of ways, leeching rounds, focus on melee punishment, and I believe they said that she can attack while moving.
Yes.
Which is pretty darn awesome. Again, very akin to her, but I don't think they broke down her kit.
You can start using her ultimate at level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume it's meter if she's like, yeah.
We know a bit about her kit. Like, we know the ultimate's level 1, we know that she has 3 dashes, and we know that she has a go back in time 3 seconds button.
Yeah.
And we also know that she has a melee hit.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if that's an ability, or I'm not sure if that's
I think it's just like
passive if you're
Lunara.
melee range.
I think it's like Lunara, where Lunara's in melee range, she'll swing her staff or whatever.
But it also might be like a targeted ability in melee range or something.
Like, that wouldn't make any sense. That's how it works.
I think it's an ability actually, but I'm not sure.
Maybe it is then.
Yeah.
I
assume
could
they
see
made
it being
Lunara
either
thing.
one. No, but it mentions like a specific damage increase. So like, it makes more sense than an ability to me.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's what that skull around Raynor is. You see that little red skull on Raynor?
I would guess that like she locks onto targets while she moves and fires at them.
Probably.
So that's probably what that reticle is.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So like you click on the hero and then like you continue to auto attack it while you move, and then like maybe strafe around it or something to that. I'm not sure.
Well,
I mean, she looks cool.
If she's coming out in April, I'm sure we'll know more about her soon. It's really exciting to hear. But it does say April right here, right? Yeah, this April Tracer joins the cast. So that's actually kind of a big deal considering that they just announced Overwatch comes out May 24th. And May 4th is the launch of Overwatch for even open beta. So she will be in Heroes before Overwatch is even out. And I didn't expect that. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I like it. Good job, Blizzard.
Going back to what Zoya said, like, I'm just pretty amazed by how all out they went on translating Tracer.
Yeah.
Like, giving her a melee hit, like all 3 dashes and the rewind, and like being able to move while attacking, and the ultimate level 1. That's like exactly what she like. I thought they'd half-ass it. I thought they'd go for, okay, so if we just give her like a really fast attack animation and then really low attack speed and then like
I had theorycrafted all these like second heroics for her.
Yeah,
but
that's
if they're,
what I
if
was
they're
thinking.
giving like, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna have a Slipstream. That's like her racer vehicle, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like it'll be like it flies in and hits people or something. I don't know. But if it's level 1 baseline, I mean, I don't know how her heroic's gonna work.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
they said- well,
guess
they
it's
said the
just another
heroic
talent
is-
here.
The heroics will modify her heroic.
Okay,
in
that makes
different
sense.
ways.
Oh,
They also
okay.
talk about how she has
She-
3 different play styles. You have the poke style, you have the like dart and assassin style, and then you have a CC style based off talents, I assume.
She sounds like she's gonna be like the Zeratul player's dream, though, because if you guys have played Overwatch, when you hit E, not only does she go back to her original location, but she removes any stasis effects. So that's like stuns, roots, whatever. Might not work against stuns. Who knows?
Well,
Because
you
obviously-
can't use her E when you're stunned,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I
So-
assume it's
But
the
if you're
same.
slowed or you're rooted or you have poison on you or whatever, it should remove that. So it could just be an instant counter to things like, Envenom or even the poison of Xul, because it brings you back to that previous point of time. You're rewinding time. It's called rewind, but it also heals her back to her original point in health in Overwatch, and that could be really broken in
Yeah.
Heroes.
Especially, she also has no mana. She like it says she needs
Reload.
to
Oh my God.
reload. So maybe she never has to base if you can heal up by pressing E or whatever the ability
That
will
sounds
be.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. Let's see how it is.
Alrighty. Well, any final thoughts on Tracer? Just
Super exciting.
Hopefully, we get gameplay teaser soon.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, of course, it is 3:30 in the morning for you guys in Europe, so we're going to wrap things up. Just want to give a big shout out before we even go to shout outs in general to Blizzard for providing this room. Basically, I've got a facility. They hooked us up with internet. They brought us computers here to make sure that we were able to do our shows, and I'm very thankful because making sure that Town Hall can keep flowing is a big priority of mine. With that note, Cubus Maximus.
Usual stuff, guys. Follow me at the Kubi. And I think that the general shout I want to give is we got 3 teams left to qualify for Korea, which is everything that people are looking at for right now, at least until Dorm gets rolling and stuff. So we got 1 more team to come out of Korea, which is we have MVP Black right now, and I think Monday is the qualifier for like the next team that can get to the finals, but that will be the next team to go. Latin America's finals, I think, are on the 20th, and then I think Taiwan's are also coming up very soon, at least over the next week. So everybody should be tuning into that so we can see what the rest of the 12 teams will be at Korea, which is going to be very, very exciting. Other than that, I think that's about it for me.
Bakery, you're a goober. Zoya.
Yeah, shout out to Tempo Storm and our sponsors. We got the house still, so that's awesome. We're going to be here. Prison Content moving the team in very, very soon. So shout out to them for all that. A shout out to Team Dignitas. They were kind enough to let the trophy go to the least valuable player on the team. So really, really great bunch of guys there for doing so. A big shout out to just the fans in general. We met our goal for the Town Hall Heroes T-shirt.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. We were 6 over.
I didn't see the update. Sweet.
Okay, Jake. Sleeping again?
You're like
All right.
really on. You're really on
Dude,
point today.
I'm so busy this week. You have no idea, man.
Oh wait, was the goal 40 or 50?
It was 50.
Oh, I lied. I thought we were. I thought the
it
goal.
was 46, but still a huge shout out.
Jake, waking up.
Thanks for buying our shirts. And next episode's episode 100, so get hyped for that. It's 100 episodes of freaking shitload. So that's really big.
Oh yeah, so I need to figure out how to get a computer in my room. Like might try to move this computer in my room because episode 100 will be a celebration. That's for sure. Hasuobs, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Shout outs.
Oh yeah, I was done with shoutouts. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks to Mindsanity, obviously. All the sponsors and partners we have. For the great bootcamp we had. We will come back to practice for Korea, and then, see you guys in Korea.
Congrats again to both
Congrats,
of you.
man. I'm looking forward to watching you in Korea. Zoya, did you actually have more shout outs?
I was just gonna say follow me on Twitter at Tempo Zoya.
Don't do that.
Oh,
But-
this Friday I'm casting Virgin Game. I don't know with who
You're
yet.
casting what?
Divergent Gaming's tournament.
Oh, nice.
It's right-
So that'll
so-
be on the DG Open Twitch.
Tournament, yeah.
Bakery. What's that you're holding?
So, as always, thank you very much for the invite. This is a trophy I'm holding.
Yeah, finally, you guys didn't choke in the grand finals.
It was the other way in this grand finals. I don't think it's ever going to happen again, so I need to savor this moment.
Yeah, you do.
Jeez.
So, as always, shout out to my team, and of course, Team Dignitas, and of course, all of our sponsors. You can follow me on Twitter at Bakery Heroes, where I'm doing some more giveaways this week for Tassadar skin kids, so you can look forward to that.
I don't have that skin. Give it to me.
And I also have a very exciting project that I've been working on coming up, so you'll get to see that this Saturday. So look out for that.
Damn. The drops
Teasing.
of the super secrets coming out. Well, I'm excited to hear whatever you got in store, man. Should be cool. Yes, again, shout out to everyone for tuning in. Thanks you guys for coming on. It's crazy that we have 99 episodes of this show. I will be in Orlando for 5 weeks, but I should be able to continue doing Town Hall while I'm here. But my normal stream and my normal stuff is kind of on the back burner. I will do it here and there sporadically when I'm free, but it's definitely a lot harder to do since I'm actually doing all kinds of stuff with Heroes of the Dorm. But it's just, big shout out to Blizzard for bringing me in for this because basically, I'm working with Blizzard in Yellow Light and ESPN for 5 weeks on pretty much making Heroes stuff for TV, which is pretty cool. I mean, esports on TV is more or less non-existent, and it's going to be a really fun project. So there's a lot of top players playing in Collegiate. We will be talking... Oh, maybe Trick and I will do a stream tomorrow. Yeah, maybe we can make that happen. I think we are free in the evening, so we'll see, guys. It's 6 weeks, not 5. See, math is not my forte, Allison. Thanks for calling me out, but it's all good. On that note, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all of the good things. That will conclude us here on Town Hall Heroes episode number 199. This glass is going... Kubi, put your glasses on. Zoya, put your glasses off. We'll see you next time.